So tell me where it is you came from to attend this year's conference.
I came from Kitchener, Ontario to join the conference. It's for the third year running.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
How's weather in Kitchener this time of year?
I hear it's going to be a little cooler than here when I get home. I've heard it's going to be -4 tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we had our first frost where I'm coming from
Ah.
this morning, so
Perfect.
First one of the year. Tell me your story. How or why did you get into Agile?
I got into Agile about 3 years ago, and it was largely to solve a lot of productivity problems that were happening, poor results when it came to delivering value to our customers. So I've been in IT for 25 years, did the project management thing for about 10, and when I was trying to solve these problems, I was looking at different out-of-the-box type solutions to it. Out of the box from our PMI world that we were living in. PMI, typical waterfall, hardly a unique story. So I started looking around, and one of the things I found quite quickly was Agile. And so I started digging into that and did some research. Actually, that's why I attended this conference 3 years ago for the first time. And that was my first introduction. I took Mary Poppendick's course on Lean at the same time. So my mind got open to a whole different way of thinking as opposed to the legacy PMI kind of way of thinking. So from there I started digging into it further, and we started introducing Agile into our organization. And the very first attempt at it was more of a mini waterfall. And, you know, because I couldn't break people out of their paradigm. They're thinking of requirements, design, and so on. And so we started with the mini waterfall, and everything I did was on the wall. We had a total visual system, stick keys, flip chart papers, nothing was computerized. And what I found is from the first iteration, we had planned a 6-week iteration, which is what the mini waterfall would allow. And I said, the goal is to compress that 6 weeks as best we can. And we had 3 or 4 iterations to go through. It was a small, kind of unremarkable kind of project. First iteration, we saw a little bit of improvement. The team started to capitalize, or started to understand and started to realize there's a different way of thinking. Didn't change what they were doing. They still had to do all the same steps, but we changed how they were thinking and the breaking it down and doing the demos and doing all the normal Agile kind of steps. By the 3rd iteration, instead of having this long drawn out 6-week waterfall, the team by themselves, without me pushing this, had actually collapsed it. So the whole iteration happened in 2 weeks.
Is that right?
Yeah, we got into this cycle where they were delivering code to production every 2 weeks. So from there it just blossomed. Actually at the end of that, I was like, well, you know what, we had some success, this is kind of okay, it's not Agile. I was thinking Scrum, yeah. Right? It wasn't truly Agile, it was a mini waterfall. And a local coach had come in by the name of Hino Marks, who's with ThoughtCorp in Toronto. He came in and looked at it and went, wow, you did it. I went, what? He says, you went Agile. And see, I wasn't thinking in terms of behavior, I was thinking in terms of process. Okay. And it took me a while to kind of process that and realize it. And from there, once I came to the realization of what he was talking about, it was behavior, yeah. It just exploded from there.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that's kind of my starting point.
Yeah, no, great, one of the better stories.
Oh.
And can you tell me why you chose the topic you did to speak on at this year's conference?
I had 2 topics. The one during the conference was called "If You Were in the Room with an Elephant, Would You Know It?" Mm-hmm. It largely came as to watching the video of The Invisible Gorilla by Daniel Simons. Saw it on YouTube, and I thought that was kind of cute and so on, and it kind of fascinated me. And then I read his book, and then I started applying it to Agile. And when we talk about Agile, and I think I saw this sub-theme run through this whole conference, was people. People are so key. And this is a really big part, this topic I had picked up, a really big part of that is we need to understand how people are put together and how they work if we're going to create some improvements. So it's not enough to think people will see things or will pay attention to things. We have to be aware that we need to help them see the unexpected. So I thought it was a very relevant topic, a very good topic based on, you know, the elephant in the room. Too often we're missing that. And I'm actually seeing that. A lot of companies I'm talking to and case studies I'm reading, people are too focused on the process and not looking at the people. So it was an important topic to me. Bit of a risk too. It's the first time I did a topic that was so soft.
Yeah.
right? So that was a bit of a risk for me personally, but I think it paid off.
Yeah. No, I think very well received.
From what I heard, yeah.
And as you were saying, one of the themes of this year's conference is hunting agile elephants. Can you give me an example of an elephant that you found to challenge an organization?
I think the biggest one I'm challenged with is the process paradigm, process versus people. I think people are the most important thing. That's where great results come from, not some process. So it's helping to, get that on the table, helping to make it visible, helping people to see that elephant, that we're ignoring the people, and that's where the great results would come from. Haven't overcome it yet in the organization I'm in, but it's coming along.
Yeah, great. And can you tell me a success story of where you've seen an organization overcome an elephant in the room?
Yeah, it would probably be Thought Corp in Toronto that I would give this one to, and it's the people aspect of it. One of the most brilliant things I've heard of was they had to develop, I believe it was a new corporate vision. It was a vision kind of statement of some kind. And they're located on Yonge Street, just north of the 401, a very busy business area. Well, what I hear a lot of companies do is a more traditional way of management goes off and management sits in a room somewhere and management comes up with whatever the vision should be. In this case, what they did is they took all the middle management and they went down to a local pub, one of the outdoor pubs, where you sit out right on the street. And they gave everybody cue cards. And they said, okay, the question we want you to answer is, what can we do to help these people? How can we make a difference in their lives? And they were pointing at all the throngs of people that were going back and forth right in front of them. And they said, we want you to take 10 minutes and sit quietly and think about that and write down your thoughts. And then, after that was done, they organized them and so on and so forth. And I can't remember what their vision statement, I believe it was collaboration at the speed of thought or something. They came up with a really brilliant vision statement, right? But it was based on people. It was based on, getting down to where the actual action happens and looking for how they can make a difference in the world.
Yeah, a little different way of looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's all I had today.
Good.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yes. Thanks for